This map shows the Indian subcontinent in 1576. Emperor Akbar's Mughal Empire is rapidly expanding, swallowing surrounding kingdoms to create a unified block of territory. But right in the middle, entirely encircled, is the small, isolated state of Mewar. While nearly every other regional ruler negotiated treaties or entered the Mughal court, Maharana Pratap refused to submit. He chose to defend Mewar's sovereignty, isolating his kingdom from traditional allies to face the empire alone. This tactical terrain map shows the setup on June 18, 1576. Pratap's force of 20,000 soldiers used the Haldighati Pass, a narrow gorge known for its yellow soil, to bottleneck an advancing Mughal army of approximately 60,000 men. The geography neutralized the empire's massive numerical advantage. Pratap launched a shock assault right into the Mughal vanguard. Leading his forces alongside Rajput warriors was the Afghan commander Hakim Khan Suri. His presence demonstrates the conflict centered on political sovereignty and territory, independent of religious lines. A defeat here would mean the immediate annexation of Mewar. This pass was the only thing standing between Pratap's autonomy and the administrative machine of the Mughal state. In the heat of combat, Pratap spotted the Mughal commander, Man Singh, directing the army from atop a war elephant. Pratap spurred his armored Marwari horse, Chetak, straight through the battlefield, forcing the horse to rear up and strike the elephant. During the strike, swords attached to the elephant's tusks sliced into Chetak's leg, severely wounding the horse. Despite the crippling injury, Chetak carried the wounded Pratap away from the dense fighting. The horse leaped across a 26-foot stream to bring his rider to safety, collapsing and dying immediately after. With Pratap injured and his forces outnumbered, the Mewar army retreated into the surrounding hills. The Mughals claimed the territory, and today, sites like the Chetak Samadhi Memorial mark the physical end of the battle. While the Mughals occupied the pass, they failed to capture the Rana. Pratap's survival transformed a tactical retreat into a persistent threat that would haunt the empire for decades. Pratap abandoned the traditional forts of his ancestors, moving his family and loyalists deep into the harsh, rocky terrain of the Aravalli forests. He discarded the old rules of open-field, set-piece battles. Instead, he reorganized his men to wage guerrilla warfare. This schematic illustrates the new strategy. Fast-moving Mewari units strike Mughal supply chains and outposts, then immediately vanish back into the safety of the dense foliage before reinforcements can arrive. By giving up vulnerable, static targets like castles, Pratap weaponized the region's hostile geography. The continuous strikes exhausted the larger, slower Mughal army, draining their morale and resources. Surviving in the Aravallis required local expertise. Pratap forged an alliance with the indigenous Bhil tribe, treating them as equals rather than subjects. The Bhils provided intimate knowledge of the mountain passes. They operated as scouts, supplied the army with food, and used precision archery to launch concealed ambushes. Mastery of the forest couldn't solve a mounting economic crisis. Years of constant mobilization had emptied Mewar's treasury, leaving Pratap unable to feed or rearm his coalition. At this critical low point, a Jain financier and general named Bana Shah intervened. He handed over his entire personal fortune to Pratap to fund the resistance. This data visualization tracks Mewar's resources. The sudden spike in capital provided enough wealth to sustain an army of 25,000 soldiers for 12 straight years. Pratap's survival relied on bringing together tribal warriors and wealthy administrators into a single, cohesive military operation. 6 years after Haldighati, in 1582, Pratap's newly funded and reorganized forces went on the offensive at the Battle of Dewair. This regional map highlights the Dewair outpost. It served as a heavily fortified Mughal stronghold that controlled the vital routes connecting Mewar and Marwar. Pratap's forces launched a highly coordinated surprise attack on the garrison. Breaking this central node caused a rapid domino effect, allowing Mewar to overtake dozens of surrounding Mughal positions. During the fighting, Pratap's forces killed the Mughal commander, Sultan Khan. The loss of their leader entirely fractured the discipline and morale of the Mughal defenders. The fall of the commander forced a panicked Mughal retreat. For the first time since the war began, the empire was actively ceding ground back to the Mewari rebels. In the immediate aftermath, 36 Mughal military outposts collapsed, and an estimated 36,000 Mughal troops surrendered to Pratap. The sheer scale of the defeat stunned the imperial court. Emperor Akbar halted all full-scale invasions of Mewar for the remainder of Pratap's lifetime. With the Mughal grip broken, Pratap reclaimed the majority of his ancestral territory and established a new, independent capital at Chavand. Maharana Pratap outlasted an empire. He proved that an overwhelming military force can be dismantled through geographic strategy, key economic alliances, and an unbreakable coalition.